First on the agenda, we have a consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Got a motion, is there a second?
Second. Chairman Schultz, I'd like to request a change on the agenda on item C.
Okay, hold on, let's get through the consent agenda first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have a motion and a second on the
All right.
consent.
Aye.
So, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so say that again now.
Item C, Wendy Mueller.
Okay.
It's not with WIDA, it's West Central Community Development.
Oh,
That's the way mine is. That's what mine is.
This is Western Iowa.
Correct?
Yes.
How did mine not get correct?
Well, on the script, it says, Western,
Must have an old copy of script or
it
something.
says WIDA, in this,
On
this
script
one,
it says WIDA,
on the script, it says WIDA.
so that's where you
Like
record
this-
our.
Yeah,
notes,
right.
So
All,
we wanna change that.
Okay,
it is, West Central.
noted.
What she posted for the agenda was West Central Community Action.
John, we don't have the verbiage for this, but you're first on the agenda. And we have a bid opening for LEWP 2021-78 project.
You can have that,
No, you.
Oh, looks like there's 3 projects here.
4, I think.
Same numbers, 2, 3,
Is right here.
4. Okay, yep. So, you wanna
Sure, take it away.
get us going?
Jake Farrell's the designer on the project. He's assistant engineer and I made him do the letting. So he's gonna open the bids and I'm just gonna try to help him so he can get through his first one.
Pass these up to them.
Sure.
Where are these at? Oh, you got them.
He wants
Oh, they're all around the county. We kind of have,
Who's this guy?
Jake Farrell, assistant engineer.
Hi, Jake. FERRO.
yep,
Thanks. You said they're all around the county?
yeah, they're all spread out. We kind of broke them into.
Aye, over here, sir.
I am sorry.
Thank you. You wouldn't know.
You got another one?
Sure do.
No, we have to share. Yes.
Did you get an agenda, Brian?
No, I didn't, I saw it on the email.
I'll remind Liz to print out an extra one, or you can remind her.
16 places or something like that.
I don't think these are the same ones.
First one, emergency watershed.
What's that?
Emergency watershed.
It's the same money, but are these the same ones you brought? You didn't send what you brought.
Yes, we had to approve project plans a week ago or
Oh,
so.
okay.
So, yeah, those plans are the ones that are out for bid. So it's same locations as that one.
So Jake did, did it before.
Yeah, he did the design on it and I'm having him do the advertisement and
Okay.
that part of it as well, so.
Okay.
So we should get open bids too, right? So,
You got,
first thing I'll do is tell me who the bid's from.
This bid is from AM Coron and Son.
Then you check the bond signs, then you check the proposals, so bond sign. It's also signed, so it's a responsible bid.
Say that.
So you can tell them the bid and the bond bid signed, then you read the bid amount.
Okay, so the bid and the bond have been signed, and that'd be it, right? The apparent total bid is $288,409.59.
Put that one back in the envelope, otherwise it gets changed. I can do that first. No, give me a paper right now too.
Second bid for first project is from Nelson and Rock Contracting Incorporated. See the
Bond, yeah.
bid and the bonding forms are signed, and the apparent total bid is $242,332 even.
Say that was all the bidders for project one.
That's all the bidders for the project number 1. for project number 2. Just this one.
Wow, so,
Hey, John, do you have an engineer's estimate on that?
It should be in that, little packet I gave you.
The first one is parentheses 1 on the estimate.
Okay, 271.
Oh, I guess I have it in front of me too, I'm sorry. $271,298.40 was the estimate.
oh,
Project number 2, this bidder is AM Coron and Son. They're both signed and the parent bid is $485,335.46.
Yeah, there's only one bidder on project 2.
Would you say that amount again?
Sure.
485.
$485,335.46.
Thank you.
The estimate was $493,298.98.
Right.
Okay.
and only one bidder, huh?
Only one bidder on project 2. Sorry, I'm out of order. Yeah, don't do that.
Where's the location of that one, the number 2 there?
They're kind of in groups and quadra in the county. Most of them are on the eastern half.
Right, but why only one bidder, do you think?
Probably the dirt work. Some of these will get kind of tough, but the contractor has to come up with their own fill dirt, then they either bid them higher or they won't bid.
Okay,
It's kind of difficult for them to overcome.
This is for project number 3. This is also AM Coron and Son. They're both signed and the total bid is $249,347.29.
So that was a little higher than what you expected, John.
Yeah. Yes, the estimate was 223,409.23.
Okay.
Which one did that?
There's 2 bids on 3.
2.
Yes, there's one coming here. That's all that's wrong.
The second bid is from ESB Clark Heavy Construction. The total bid is $305,597. What was our estimate?
223, I think. Yeah, 225.
Alright, this is for project 4. The first bid is from AM Coron and Son. The total bid is $293,982.62. And we have one more bid on this project as well.
were all the rest of these people that took out, the information, is that why they're on here?
Yes, they were plan holders. We just didn't
Okay.
receive bids from them.
Okay.
Try to collect the bids a day ahead so we know who's who, but one of the envelopes didn't have the contractor's name on them, so we didn't know
Okay,
who it was.
The second bid is from ESB Clark Heavy Construction. And the total bid is $333,142.
So what's the plan, John? You're gonna review these, come back to us next week or so for an award?
Yeah, we'll have Jake check the math and we'll come back with the parent low bidders. I guess we have a parent low bidders now, but yeah, we'll come back for award next week.
Okay.
you got 2 that are over the estimate, 2 that are under, is that what we got?
Yes, the last 2 are over.
Melvin, is the phone line on? Did
No.
you dial in? Miss Becky Bell wants to call in.
What,
I know I was forgetting something.
is this work done over the winter then?
Oh, we're gonna try to work through the winter, depending on what we get, but we'll likely have to finish in the spring.
Good.
There are currently 2 other participants in the conference.
Okay. They've probably been having a nice chat between them.
Dismisses here. Anything else from us?
Well,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
On the agenda, we have David Meyer, CIO, decision to award software contract to Volano Software for the Attorney's Office custom software. Dave, go ahead.
Good morning. We, together with Leanne and Rhonda from the Attorney's Office, we put together an RFP several months ago and put that out for bid, and we got 4 responses. 2 were very expensive, 2 were roughly the same price. We selected Volano because the price was within what we expected to spend, and our meeting with them was very positive. They answered all of our questions, and we felt like there was a very good understanding of what we're trying to build. And when we contacted their customer references, they were glowing. So we felt good about picking them or selecting them as our vendor. The cost for the project is $63,525 with ongoing support options of $16,000 or $22,000. We would have to decide that at that point. The project would take it'd be complete in March or April of next year to build the custom software. And if you're not familiar with the software, what it is it's software that tracks fines that are put on people in the court system for, and they have to pay certain monies back to get their driver's licenses reinstated. And Leanne could probably tell you more about that if you want to know more about the software. But it's custom software. It's not off the shelf. Most of the time in the county we try to buy off the shelf software, but this is a unique tool. And so we've selected Volano. We're looking for your approval to go forward with them and to sign the contract with them.
Okay, where's this money coming from?
We didn't get any contract or.
I emailed you guys the proposal this morning, so, several minutes ago, so you do have a copy of it. If you're not familiar with this program, we started this in, I believe, 2008, and currently, it brings in about $300,000 to the county's budget, plus an additional $35,000 to $40,000 to the county attorney's budget every year. And the software has to be custom because when we started doing this and I was looking at other collections program, they have to worry about consumer debt collections and all kinds of other stuff that doesn't apply to this. In addition to, we collect over $1 million a year that we get a portion of. But in addition to that $1 million, there's a lot more money that we collect in restitution and other things. The city has their tickets and we collect on them and don't really get anything from that. So we're collecting a lot of money. Like I said, $300,000 coming into the county's budget. I believe this was set, I believe there was $60,000 set aside to bond for this. And I know that Matt also had some in his budget for it, but I'm thinking we're probably better off, and not to speak for him, but probably better off bonding initially for it, and then because I think it was $60,000 for the bond, we're looking at a little more than that in terms of the estimate. Go forward from there.
If I can chime in.
Well,
Sorry, this is Becky. If I can chime in, yes, we do have actually with our premium that we got, we do have enough to cover the $63,525 in the current bond that we just received at the end of October. There is an account code built for it.
so what are you guys using now? What are you using now up there?
We have a different collections program, but when we got new computers, They didn't know whether or not it would be usable on the new platform, the latest Microsoft. I mean, every time we've upgraded our computers, there's been a question as to whether or not the collections program was gonna work on it.
So the software they've had is custom software that they've been using since 2008, and we've hired
Who made that?
a guy who built it. But the problem with that is the guy is hard to find when you need upgrades or bug fixes and things of that nature. So we decided to modernize, but also hire a company that can support them going forward, which we're excited about, right? It's always been so difficult to get the bug fixes and enhancement requests in because that person's not available
What
anymore.
are we paying every year right now for annual maintenance?
0, there isn't any.
And there's bugs in it that we just work around. We've also, with the new website that the county has, we've put the form for applying for the program on the county's website, but there's bugs in how that works. And we still have to re-enter all the information that the defendant puts in. We have to re-enter it into the program. So part of what we're looking for is streamlining the process so that if you apply for the program online, it can automatically go into the software program rather than somebody having to retype it. You know, you get clerical errors and such when that happens. We also want it to be a little more mobile friendly because right now when we tell people, hey, go to the website and download it, they say it doesn't come up right on our phone, which is true. And so we're trying to, reduce the requirement that people used to have to actually physically come to the courthouse. Obviously, back in March, that became an issue for them. And so we've been doing our best to kind of work with all of those difficulties. And we're just really looking to try to streamline everything and make it much more efficient. Right now, I supervise the program. We have one clerk who works full-time on it, and then my paralegal, Rhonda, is she's the problem solver. She also spends a lot of her time on this program. Our receptionist also assists with it. In addition to bringing money into the county, what it allows is for people to register their vehicles and also have their driver's license while they still owe traffic fines. And so we don't have people who are continually getting stopped for no valid registration, no insurance, no driver's license, and they basically keep digging themselves deeper and deeper into a hole. This is something that allows them to get out of that. They get to continue to drive legally to work while they're, paying off their fines to the state and the county.
So, just so I'm clear, it's, this custom software is one-time maximum $63,525.
Right, that's the one-time payment.
Okay, and they'll have it done in March sometime?
March, April is when they suspect to happen.
And then the ongoing cost is $16,000?
So there's some options there. We could go time and material and just pay them when we need something fixed at whatever their rate is. Or we could sign up for specific levels of service. One level was around $16,000, one level was $22,000. We'd have to decide going forward what we wanted to do with them.
Well, every 4 years we buy the software.
That's typically how much, software is expensive and maintenance typically is about 20% of your original cost, ballpark. But we could go the first year, do the 22, the highest level the first year, realize that we don't need it as much and scale back the next year and just do time and material. It would be up to us as we kind of decide going forward.
So, well, I mean, when you buy it, let's just say April, I won't say April 1st, but April Fool's Day. So, let's just say March 1st, they install the software. Is there a 90-day, 6 months period that you test ride it to make sure they give you the software because it's custom software?
So the $63,000 has kind of two pieces to it. There's a $57,000 is what it's going to take to build it, and there's a $5,600 piece for after go live, but little fixes that need to be repaired or whatever. So I combined those two because we'll use both of them. because there's always what I call fallout or tweaks after you go live with software, and both sides realize that this isn't the way it was supposed to be, or workflow is a little slightly different than we thought. So there is a $5,600 piece during that go live stretch for a couple months that would cover.
A couple months, you said?
Well, it depends on how much we would use. It's 40 I believe it's 40 hours of work.
Is what
So if we only used, 20 hours.
So 5,700 is 40 hours of work? You said 57?
If you did the math, it's $140 per hour,
Yeah,
whatever. So 5,600 divided by 140 would tell you the hours.
okay, but it's $5,700, right?
5,600.
5,600,
Scott, I got a question.
yeah.
Since you had it custom made, is there rights to this?
We own the code.
Okay, because then it sounds like other counties will want a system like this.
Other counties use what we currently have.
Do we have the rights to that? Will we get any income off that?
No.
Okay,
No, the decision was made to basically give it to other counties. For the most part, these are smaller counties that wouldn't be able to afford custom software.
okay.
And, we cooperate with a lot of counties in terms of this collections program. Not only is it Potawatomi County, but we can collect fines, traffic fines from other counties. And so there's just kind of a agreement among various counties to cooperate and work together to collect traffic fines and other court debt.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the $63,000 program.
Got a motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion?
Leanne, when did you get this contract from these people?
Was it 2 weeks?
It was the mid-November, I think November 13, I want to say.
And you just sent it to us today?
That's my fault. I should have sent it with the agenda request.
Wow. Okay. The other question I have for you is Matt has,
I don't have the exact number, but over a couple $100,000 in his collection fund.
Okay.
That could be used to pay for this, can't it?
I can't answer for him in terms of budget. I do know he had money in his budget to pay for this, if you would
We
prefer.
held a public hearing and approved the county attorney software. That's what we bonded for. So I'm just chiming in to say we did set aside and bond specifically for this software.
Okay.
So going forward, basically, we get 114 hours if we go with the $16,000. When does that decision have to be made?
I imagine as we get closer to the go-live date, we would have to pick how what kind of support we want to purchase.
Okay, so did I don't know where this outfit's out of,
They're out of Omaha.
oh, they're out of Omaha?
Yep.
Did we get some references then?
Yes, they gave us four references. We called all four, or I contacted all four. 3 responded with glowing remarks.
And were they governmental?
No, they were private businesses. American Fence was one of them. There was a finance company of some sort. I can't remember the other one.
Okay. Okay.
I'd be more inclined to hold off on the
The maintenance.
Yeah, the maintenance agreement until we get a little closer to going live, because then you can just kind of get a feel of how things are going, and, I feel a lot more comfortable you make that recommendation to us a little bit later when we get closer to that date in March. But that's me.
Yeah. So we're just approving the software, that's all we did.
Yeah.
So the motion should read 57,000?
No, you're fine, everything you did was fine.
63,525.
I'm just excluding the annual maintenance agreement. So it's just strictly the software that we're talking about purchasing, which is what your motion was, so we're okay.
I assume, do you actually have the agreement there or not?
I don't, it's in our,
I'm looking at it right now. I mean, it'd be nice if we would've had this way before the board meeting.
I mean, has Matt Wilbur, has he reviewed it?
Yes, I sent him all 4 proposals.
It was sent to us, it's got at 9:57 today.
Okay.
okay, any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay, motion's carried. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Wendy, you on the phone?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we got you up next. We have, sorry, it's not written correctly on my phone. So you're the Executive Director for West Central Community Action. You have a presentation for us on the discussion to fund, with a funding request of $15,000. So go ahead.
It's that time of, yes, it's that time of year again when I come and make my annual visit. So can I go ahead and get started?
Yep, go for it.
Okay, well, thank you so much for letting me participate by phone. I really do appreciate that. And I just want to thank you for your continued support of your funding for West Central Community Action. I also have Keith Bruck here, who's our fiscal officer. And I want to thank Lynn Groby for sitting on our board. He provides great support, and he does a really good job for us. You should have a packet of information in front of you. I'm assuming that you have that.
Yeah, we got it.
Yes. Okay, great. So I'm just going to highlight some of the programs and services that we provided. On page 1, you can see that we served almost 2,000 households, which consisted of over 4,400 individuals. Of those households that we served, 46% were single-person households, 57% had a household income below 100% of the federal poverty guidelines, 71% were on a fixed monthly income, and 43% were between the ages of 18 and 59 years. If we go on to the services that we provided, starting on page 3, Head Start, it promotes school readiness for children ages 3 to 5 in low-income families. We do operate 3 Head Start classrooms in Pot County. All are located in Council Bluffs that serve a total of 48 children. We also partner with the Council Bluffs School District, which serves a total of 50 children in 3 Council Bluffs elementary schools in 10 classrooms. Those elementary schools are Bloomer, Franklin, and Edison. We also offer an early Head Start option, which provides low-income infants, toddlers, pregnant women, and their families opportunities, and we operate a center-based early Head Start program that serves a total of 32 children in Council Bluffs. On page 4, we have the Child Care Resource and Referral, which work with home providers who are registered and really ones that want to become registered, as well as child care centers. We really try to encourage them to participate in the quality rating system to improve overall child care. There were 171 child care programs with a capacity of over 5,500 spaces listed with CCONR. 20 of those 76 development homes participants in the quality rating system, and 31 out of the 57 centers were QRS participants. We also offer the Child and Adult Care Food Program, which really promotes good nutrition, positive eating habits, and attitudes in children who are located in registered family child care homes. We did serve 643 children, and they were enrolled at 48 home care providers. Weatherization helps low-income households increase their overall energy efficiency of their homes and really saves money on their fuel costs. We did provide services to 6 households in Pottawatomie County for over $110,000 worth of weatherization.
On page 5, we have the Low Income Energy Assistance Program, or LIHEAP. So we served almost 1,800 households, and they received utility assistance in a total of almost $800,000. We also assisted with emergency crisis payments, which helps with furnace repair and replacements, fuel delivery, reconnect fees, and service continuity. We assisted 214 households for over $130,000. And we also had CARES ESIP assistance, which assisted an additional 154 households with over $99,000. The Senior Employment Program, it works with people who are 55 years and older in job training opportunities. We had 38 participants gained work experience in Pot County. Those participants worked at Mom's Place, Habitat for Humanity, Heartland Child Development, Iowa Workforce, Micah House, just to name a few. On page 6, we have the Family Development and Self-Sufficiency Program. That program really works with at-risk families who are unfit and provides intense case management services to get them out of poverty. We serviced 101 families in Potawatomi County with the FADS program. This year, we offered a rent and mortgage assistance program through the CSBG CARES supplemental grant. Clients needed to be at least 200% or below of the federal poverty guideline in order to qualify, and they could receive up to 3 months of rent or mortgage assistance. We serviced 113 households, and they received almost $243,000 in CSBG rent and mortgage money. Page 7, this shows the breakdown of program dollars or value that go directly to clients and local vendors in Pot County, which totaled almost $4 million. On page 8 shows the admin and the delivery costs. We say we're doing our job if we can keep our admin under 5% and our delivery costs under 20%, and we did accomplish both of those things. Page 9 is just a summary, and as you can see, over $4.5 million worth of services were provided by West Central for citizens in Potawatomi County. So I also want to state that I'm extremely pleased on how West Central adapted to changes due to COVID-19 and continue to provide vital services to those in need. And again, just on behalf of myself, the employees, and the board of directors, we appreciate your continued support.
Cool. Wendy, one real quick question for you on the weatherization. You said there were 6 homes in Pot County. How many applied? Were there only 6 that applied?
So the weatherization program looks a little different. You have to be under 200% of poverty, and it goes on a point system, and so you have to have different criteria, and the state actually sends us a report with the most homes in need based on several criteria, and so we go down that list and contact people throughout our 8 counties that we service weatherization. So it's a little bit different. It's called a priority list, and so the state sets that list for us.
Okay, so if they weren't a priority this year, will they be next year?
This depends how far on the list they are. I will also say that when we go out to weatherization, some homes get denied due to several factors. They might have knob and tube wiring. They might have asbestos. There's certain things that we can't do. So we did evaluate more homes in Potawatomi County. However, they were denied due to certain federal regulations.
Okay. All right.
I'll move that for you, Chairman.
Got a motion, is there a second to approve? Where is it coming out, Gaming?
Second.
That's where we were taking it.
Yep, okay. Got a motion and a second for $15,000 to West Central, coming out of gaming. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. Wendy, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Hey, you
Thank
too.
you. Bye-bye.
Okay, so next we have Jason Slack, Director of Buildings and Grounds, discussion decision to approve change order CRC 19R, existing storm pipe, remaining for credit of 17 and 14.
So moved.
Got a motion to approve, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Got a second, Jason, any other discussion on this one?
Nope.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Okay, next, we have Jana Limerick, Director of Human Resources, and Jason Slack, Director of Buildings and Grounds. Discussion decision to hire temporary custodian. Jason, I'll let you and Jana kick this off. So, you want to explain what's going on?
Well, we've been having discussions with the jail on how we're gonna accomplish the extra cleaning that needs to be done in the facility. Rob's been part of that conversation. Lewis Davids and Brian Snyder there at the jail as well. The extra cleaning that needs to be done takes quite a bit of time, and it takes a maintenance person away from their job during the day. And we seem to be falling behind in our preventive maintenance, our inventories and our inspections that we typically have to keep up on during the course of the month. My concern is, right now we have a guy out ill, and if someone else would come down ill in that department, it would really put us in a tight spot because one of our maintenance guys down there already has a scheduled FMLA starting the third week of December for maternity leave. So we're gonna be shorthanded there as well. And I guess my concern is keeping up the sanitation in the facility.
So I got a couple questions. Number one, what does temporary mean?
Temporary would be, if we were to get somebody hired here in December, it would not last past the month of March.
Okay, so 90 days. And then, and then have we looked at just extending the contract with the cleaners we have at the courthouse?
We have talked about that, but it wasn't favorable.
Why not?
I think the jail team was concerned about what kind of background checks are done with the sanitizing crew, what kind of training could be provided, what kind of supervision, right? Because if they're out and about sanitizing and starting having a conversation with an inmate, that might not be something that they thought was wrong to do, and what kind of liability are we putting ourselves in? The other concern with the crew was that if, we don't necessarily know if they send new people, so if these two individuals have a vacation day or leave citywide and they need to send someone new, we don't necessarily know that. So then again, we'd be concerned about someone new being over there in the jail. I did speak with Matt yesterday in regards to getting reimbursement for this position. He did indicate it would be much easier to get a reimbursement from CARES if it was through citywide, if it was a contract worker. Of course, we could request it from as a temporary employee, but it'll be more complicated.
So, I'm having a hard time understanding why we couldn't contract this and then designate the individuals that would be doing this every time and then giving them training to be at the jail. I mean, why can't, are we confident that citywide can't maintain the same people every time that we're doing this?
Not necessarily. I mean, with the courthouse cleaning, we've already switched our crew out. We're on our third crew right now. I just think that, I don't know if it's the repetitiveness of, wiping down the same frequently touched surface all day long. They just kind of, I don't know. I tend to notice that they're taking long breaks when they probably shouldn't be, and I have to get a hold of the supervisor. Supervisor comes in, they'll change the crew out. The new crew will come in, they'll do well for, 2-3 months. And then the same thing kind of happens with them. We start seeing complacency. They're not wiping things down properly. We don't see them in certain areas where we've seen them before, and it's just not, I get reports that people haven't seen them all day and things like that, then I have to report that to the supervisor, and then we switch the crew out. It seems like that's happened about every 2 months. Not, I'm not saying that we wouldn't find a person that would want to stay there for the entire duration, but I guess it's
You see the dilemma we're in. So it's not as likely to get reimbursed if we hire someone versus if we contract with someone.
Right.
So, where were you intending this money to come from? Like, where were you thinking?
Well, initially we were thinking CARES Act, but
because we've had quite a few conversations with Garfield and Jason and Rob and the jail team about what are our options, all kinds of different solutions, and it's challenging because there's just a very different environment over there, and so this was one of our options that we thought we would bring to the board.
Yeah, I think the jail biggest challenge was the security of, if you have a contractor coming in there, the liability piece of them interacting with the inmates and having to just freelance throughout the whole jail.
I mean, they wouldn't have that
knowing-
anyway. I mean, I'm
knowing
assuming
that
you
they
don't
have
let
to-
people run free range now, do we?
But it depends what you mean by free range. I mean, they're in their pods, they're able to come out into the day room area. So the inmates, that is one of the areas that we are most concerned with, is the inmates area. So we would want, you know, the tables and touch surfaces in the pods wiped down, you know, I think we talked about 3-4 times.
I mean, I don't disagree with what we're trying to accomplish, you know, as far as getting it cleaned and all that. I totally get that. I want that to happen, but I'm having a hard time understanding how, first off, you know, I know our jail folks are doing a great job of what they do, and so if we had a contract versus an employee, I feel like the jail staff is gonna have control of that either way. I mean, so, you know, the courthouse and the jail are totally two different things. You can hide out at the courthouse a heck of a lot easier than you can hide out at the jail. The jail, they're being monitored constantly. So, I mean, I'm not seeing really how that's,
I don't know, Rob, if you want to weigh in on it at all. I mean, the jail team, so Brian and Lewis and Rob as well, were pretty against having the group come in.
Well, because of the background and liability, I assume.
Well, that, and the concern that I had was any type of substances or anything like
Right,
that. The ability that a person would have coming and going like that, to bring something like that into the facility was just, in my opinion, it's a risk that we don't need to take.
So, the word temporary, and you're saying, Jason, you're gonna go from, 90 days, is that what you said?
Roughly, yeah, if we were able to properly vet someone and, you know, to get somebody in there to work, if we got them in there here in December, we could work them through the end of March without having to pay any benefits as far as IPERS and insurance and all of that. If they were to work past March and into April, then at that time, then we would be taking IPERS out and all that. So if we were to, only cross, over one quarter, like December into January, or even if we didn't get somebody on until January, we could cross over into April, if we needed to, but that's just kind of roughly what we're looking at. I mean, with the salary of a custodian, we're looking at approximately $8,000 for a period of time from December into March, through March.
Lewis did put together a schedule a cleaning schedule and trying to fill in the pieces of, could detention officers help out? Could the current maintenance team over there help out? You know, could Tammy help out? But our concern with that is exactly what Jason had said, was that if someone should become ill, or is this sustainable? And we really are concerned about it being sustainable, and really want to make sure that everything does stay clean there.
Have you got someone in mind?
No.
So, my thinking is we should be able to capture that money back from the CARES Act. I gotta believe this is a problem with a lot of jail or confinement institutions, that they've had to adjust their cleaning crew, I mean, and do some.
We would,
who's that?
It's Matt.
this is Matt, I'm on the line. Can you
Okay.
guys all hear me?
Yeah.
We would be able to submit for FEMA reimbursement for that piece of it, which would be the 75% reimbursement of it. I would caution a little bit on not taking IPERS out I would just go ahead from what we've learned so far to take IPERS out from the beginning and just add that as part of the expense. But it would be FEMA reimbursable. With the CARES dollars, we got our full reimbursement back from what is allotted to us now based on budgeted salaries.
I guess, Matt, what was that, what'd you say with the IPERS part of it?
So what we've experienced over here is we brought on the temporary disease investigators through this process, and what happened was you reach that point of now you have to withdraw IPERS. Well, then you have to back pay IPERS into the system a little bit if you don't catch it right at the right time. And apparently there's not a system in place to say this person worked this many hours to put an alert up. So then they have to if they have to back pay any of that money in there, those individuals are only making so much money. And if they have to turn around and then back pay money in, well, then that really takes a chunk out of their check. So you're just better off to pay the IPERS up front and allow them to, you know, when the employment ends, then they can cash out their IPERS or whatever they want to do. But it just takes, when you don't make a lot of money to begin with, then have that chunk of IPERS taken out, that's
Right.
that's a lot of money.
So is the 75% include the total with IPERS?
There is a benefit fringe amount on there that when it gets submitted, yes.
Okay.
So you have your wages and then you have your benefit fringe.
Jason, would this be a temporary 30-hour per week employee?
40,
40?
yes.
Now, employees, they have an opportunity to participate in IPERS or not participate in IPERS, is that correct? Jenna?
Once they hit that certain criteria of making a certain dollar amount and working within a certain quarter, then they don't have the option. Then they have to participate in IPERS. And so what Matt was referring to is, so that criteria, there's nothing in Tyler that will say, hey, here's a big red alert, Jana just met this criteria, start taking IPERS out. And so what has happened with a handful of the temporary employees, that deadline was missed, but because they have to participate in IPERS, we have to go back and capture what they owe. And it can be a chunk of change. We try to split it out as much as we can, but I mean, we still have to get that. And so that piece is, we need to find a way to make that work so that that doesn't happen and that employees don't have to pay back money.
Still have to go back to the date of hire, correct?
No, not necessarily the date of hire.
Just to the, when they become.
You got money in your budget for that, Rob?
Eligible.
The 8,000?
Yeah.
On the jail side, I'd need to discuss that with Tiffany. On the sheriff's side, we could work something out.
Pardon me?
We could work something out on the sheriff's side.
I mean, the FEMA thing makes me a little more comfortable about getting it reimbursed.
We still.
Things right now are not good. I mean, I guess everyone needs to kind of realize that when you look at the big picture budget, you know, where we're going and all the new costs that have come in and healthcare, you know, tax revenues that we're probably not going to see being exactly the same as last year. I mean, things are not the same. So, like, expanding our government right now is not an easy thing to be doing. Now, I get at $2,000, we can probably figure that out in the end because 75% of it's covered by FEMA. We're good. But I want to and I'm hoping other department heads are hearing me when I say this, that we don't have an endless supply of money. And every time we add an employee, you know, you got to think about everyone wants raises every year. Everyone wants a raise every year. But that's going to start cutting into that dollars, you know, and then our healthcare is going to increase. I mean, it's a lot more intricate than just, oh, let's hire a guy to do something for a little while. We really got to be thinking about what we have available right now to cover these tasks. And, you know, this is not probably a big significant one, but I do have concern, like, it would be helpful for the board, or at least some of the members of the board, to know about this stuff, you know, ahead of time. You know, as you guys are having these discussions, whenever it was, it would be good for you to rope in a board member just so we at least know generally to expect it, know what's coming. So that's my piece on it. I guess I'm sorry, Rob, did you have something else you were trying to say?
That's fine. I will just say, this discussion that we had, it was either last week or the week before, I can't remember for sure, so this wasn't a significant, time ago. We also do have the coronavirus supplemental grant that we got is either 56 or 58,000.
Yeah.
We have not used that either, so that is certainly another possibility that we could use to cover this expense.
Okay.
We've gotten that already,
Yes.
One more question, Rob.
and it was, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Scott.
Well, it was an intent, what was the intent of that 56 or 58? What was that grant written for?
Is to cover any PPE or any expense, basically any expense that we have
Related to COVID?
related to COVID, correct. We have not spent any of it yet after all this got started, and Matt and his team was putting kind of, I guess, in charge of overseeing the funds. We had a conversation about it, and we still waiting to determine what the best means would be to use those funds for.
Well, I think that's the use we use, and then hopefully you can get, I don't know if you probably can't get 75% of that back, but.
Well, I think if you do time it right, you could, because they've already got the money, so you do submit to FEMA first and then take what's left and take it out of the other one. That'd be my recommendation, if that's possible.
It's reimbursable, so it's not funds that we already have been
Okay, I'm sorry. So you just have allotted up to that amount then?
Correct.
Well, if it's for
Either way, then,
COVID,
yeah.
that's for COVID, I mean.
Yep, go for it, if they'll do it. Okay,
So I'll
so
make
what's
a
the pleasure of the
motion.
board?
I'll make a motion.
One more question.
Okay.
Rob, do the inmates ever get the opportunity to clean those tables and stuff up?
That is correct. That is part of the plan. Well, that is what we do now, and that is part of the plan that Lewis and the detention managers come up with. It's just the issue that we've run into with that is if we have the inmates out going from place to place, then that takes a maintenance person or a detention officer that has to be there with them as well. They can clean their own area, but if they start roaming the whole facility, then they have to be escorted, so it.
Yeah, I think the type of chemicals that the inmate can clean with.
Correct.
For COVID, you gotta have certain type of chemical that they can come in contact with, and inmates cannot come in contact with.
Yeah, makes sense.
So do you want a motion, Chairman Schultz, to approve the posting of this position? Is that what you want, Jason?
Yes.
That's what I need.
So moved.
I'll second that for you.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. Thanks, guys, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Matt, you're still on the phone?
Yes.
Okay. And Pam, I guess, Acting Director of Planning, discussion decision to approve and authorize chairman to sign engagement letter for urban renewal plan and TIF-backed development agreement with Dorsey and Whitney LLP. Matt, do you want to kind of explain this to us a little bit?
Yes, this will be for the development agreement and TIF district that we are working on for the proposed housing subdivision down off of Pioneer Trail.
Okay.
And we had conversations, we were referred to them, they put together a TIF package that was done with inside city limits of Trainer, and we had initial conversations with them, and I think it seems to be pretty straightforward. They have a really good idea on what can be done with the residential side of a TIF and working that through, so we're electing to go with them for this TIF. And the developers have signed a letter and agreed to pay for half the cost of this.
What's that cost? Does anyone have that?
It's going to be right around $8,500.
Okay.
Where are you gonna get the rest, Matt?
Can
The rest of those funds?
Is Impact Fund eligible for this?
Say that one more time.
Impact Fund. Is that something you can use?
We could use the impact funds for this, yes, because it is rural based.
Okay. So wait, the total is 85, we're paying half, or the total is 17?
No, the total is 85, we're paying half.
Okay, so we're, okay, to 4250.
I'll make a motion to approve and authorize the chairman to sign the engagement letter, the urban renewal plan and tip-back document agreement with Dorsey and Whitney. Counties half of the cost, $4,250 come out of the Potawatomi County Impact Fund.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Matt, thank you, appreciate it. I think this is gonna be a good thing for us down the road. Okay. Stay first. All right, next we have Maria Sink, Public Health Administrator, and Matt on the phone. Discussion decision to approve job description for temporary positions of disease investigator and disease investigator lead.
Okay, so basically all this does is just add a little bit of structuring to our program. The disease investigator temporary position is, the job description is new, but the position is not. And so there's no change in job duties or pay or anything for that. It just brings a job description available for that position when we've hired them. The lead investigator position, that's really, when we started bringing disease investigators on, we needed to have someone that could quickly bring new people up to speed with current guidance, communication, and the investigation program. And so we've structured these. I've got 2 people that have really been working in this position, and so they take all the new personnel, get them onboarded to the county and the new investigations, but they also provide reports back to our incident command structure. So I'm here to request approving the temporary disease investigator job description and the temporary disease investigator lead job description. The lead job description is 5% above the highest pay for the investigator. So it's at $26.25.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman, to approve.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second it for discussion.
Got a second, go ahead and discuss.
Maria, these are temporary. How long do you think we're gonna need these people?
I expect to have them through May.
These are both temporary?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Through May of 2021.
Yes.
Well, we've discussed, this is gonna go, what we have looked at as a historical way that this has been transitioning through. And so when this originally kicked off, everybody was referred to it as contact tracing, and that's what they were doing, is contact tracing, but it was the disease investigators doing that. And I would, forecasting what we're looking at is you got to be looking to the end of 2021.
Yeah.
These temporary people, Matt, they'll qualify for reimbursement from?
Correct.
Do you anticipate any other CARES funds coming our way? I know we've maxed out our limit.
We have, but then at the same time, there's renewed talk at the federal level right now about another package coming down, and so I would hope to see, because we're in a big dramatic shift right now. You have at the federal level, so when the change happens at the federal level, from all indications so far is that something else is going to get pushed out, but we'll just have to wait and see how that comes down to us, because a lot of this got held up at the state level for a little while on our side. So hopefully we get something a little bit more direct.
What would you say the yearly salary would be on these, Matt? Or Maria?
The
I think they're 40.
The disease investigators make $20 to $25 an hour.
All right, so there's 50,000.
and then the lead would make 5% above the 25, so 26.
So that's ballpark, and let's just call it 100,000, Matt, Maria.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have that in your budget? I mean, if we had to, take care of those costs until we were possibly reimbursed, is that in your budget?
We do now, yes, because we did that shift of funds on November 3rd, I believe it was, when we came in and we did the budget amendment.
Okay. Will any of the CARES funds that you've collected already go to pay any of this?
Yes, the funds, so we did receive a direct allotment down from the state that is in our accounts, and that was for $88,000. So that is going towards it. We received a grant from the IEDA, and that was for $56,000, and that was for our interpreters. So we have those portions that are coming down. We're on the final round of review for the $1.12 million in CARES funds, and so within the next 3 to 4 weeks, I would see those being in our accounts.
Okay. So by using the word temporary, I mean, is that really valid if we may have them through all of 2021? I mean, once they get past a certain threshold, and I mean, we have the ability to, I mean, the temporary word maybe gives us the ability to know that they're going to get laid off once this, whatever you want to say, incident or action is over, and then they can file for unemployment, right?
I'm not certain about that because they're temporary, but you're right, it gives.
I mean, how long can you can only go so long. Can you go a whole year and call them temporary? 12 months?
I mean, we can, it's really whatever our definition of temporary is.
Why wouldn't we just call everybody temporary?
And again, even though we.
It's not eternal.
Yeah.
Well, and part of it too, to remember too, is that the disaster declaration is still in place.
Right.
So
You're talking about the state or the federal one?
both federal and state.
Right. I don't know which one triggers, which one's is the federal one trigger for state unemployment, or is it the state one that's for state unemployment, I guess? I'm not sure how that works.
Well, again, even though they're temporary, once they meet that IBERS criteria, which is what we were talking about. So they'd have to do that, but then it's different as far as, medical benefits, and things like that, because they're temporary.
It is different for medical benefits?
Yeah, so now in the employee handbook, we do say temporary. We say a temporary employee is an individual who is hired either for part-time or full-time hours for less than 6 consecutive months. And a temporary employee is not eligible to receive county benefits. But again, this is something very different with this disaster declaration, that it is going past 6 months. And you're right, Scott, that temporary definition tells the employee that we can let you go, pretty much any time, because depending on the workload and the disaster and all of that.
Right. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the job descriptions for temporary positions of disease investigator and the disease investigator.
I already have a
motion. Oh, there you go.
Okay, the only thing I got, I got one question.
Steel trap.
One other question. How many of these are we gonna have? How many disease investigators are we talking 1, 2, 4?
This is not to hire new disease investigators, this is just to bring it in line. So we currently have 13 people on.
Okay, so there's 13 investigators?
I would take 2 of those and make them the
Leads?
lead positions
So
so that
it's
we have coverage on the weekends and the weekends.
11 and 2 then? Or are you hiring 2 more for the disease investigator?
I'm not intending on hiring 2 more.
Okay.
We are bringing in some full-time county employees to help try and cover the workload though.
So those people have already been working,
Yeah.
all 13 of these, right?
Yes.
How long have they been in the queue?
We've just had a number of people start in November. And so that's really where this training piece kicked off, and I needed to get the job description to you. So we had new employees start on November 9th, a couple more the next week. And so the training program's really been moving forward. And I would like to make that lead position pay retroactive to November 7th if we could.
Okay. So are you guys internally charting these positions then? I mean, there's 13 of them.
Yeah, and then by their job title and how Maria's tracking them in Chronos, yes, their pay is being tracked for different funds. But we've had disease investigators before November, so contact tracers, we've had them for quite some time now. But because the numbers have gone up so much, Maria and Matt have really needed to hire some more, which then it became apparent that they needed some structure and they needed the leads.
But we're changing the title. Was the title for them, weren't us in it was contact tracers, wasn't it, originally?
They were hired under community health organizer or whichever job description best fit their qualifications.
So now they're gonna be called
Disease investigators.
these ones that we're hopefully gonna approve here.
Yeah, so we're just really cleaning that piece of it up. If we do make it retroactive, it would cost about $150 for each for those two.
So do the people want to amend their motion? To add the retroactive to November 7th?
How do you wanna make it retroactive for you?
Just because that's really when that training piece started off. So I've had this employee with basically 2 to 3 new employees in a room training them every day since I think Monday was November 9th. 7th is the start of that pay period.
Do you agree with that, Marilyn?
I do.
Okay.
Okay,
They were doing the work.
so good to go there. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. All right, thank you. Okay. Item H, is everybody good to keep going, or we need to take a break or anything? Yes, before, okay.
We've got a closed session coming up after this one.
Yeah, just want to make sure. Next, we have our Sheriff, Jeff Danker. We have Becky Belt, and discussion decision on the Sheriff Jail Administration Building Project with regards to financing and authorization of bid letting. Becky or Sheriff Danker, do you want to kick this off at all? Or?
Yeah. It's probably been, excuse me, a couple of weeks since it was after a board meeting here. I spoke with some of the board members that were here, and I said, just wanted to know, get some direction. Do we want to go out and get to submit bids for this addition on the addition on the sheriff's office? The board members I talked to said, yes, go ahead and do it. And just see where that we would, the projected is price by DLR is 3.9 million, I believe. I talked with the architect, Martin, from DLR. He made contact with Becky. They discussed different things about the financing and all that. And, what it's kind of come down to is Becky here? No.
She's on the phone.
Okay. Anyway, we,
I'm here.
okay.
Sorry.
No problem. We wanted to, I guess, probably make sure that the board was definitely, get official approval for this to make sure that, because I know the Martin from DLR just wants to make sure that if we make this, put this bid out And the contractors give us responses back that if it comes in at this 3.9 or less, that we are willing to move forward with it. I told him that the board members I talked to, which was, I think there was 3 or 4 that were in here, had given me the nod to go ahead and see what this was. But he said he would prefer and would like to make sure that we've got this and we have a vote on it. And so if we put out this bid and it comes in at that projected 3.9 or less total amount, that it is something that we're ready to move forward with. Because if it's not, and I mentioned this, the last time, that we don't want to go to bid and then say things have changed up. And I know that there's some things that you guys had kind of in the works that was, that, you're just kind of waiting to see and it looked good and all that. But we wanted to just bring this to the board and just say, I don't know if we're still good with that or not, but I just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And we've got if we do go forward with this, that the board is definitely on board, with these bids, so.
So, just from Justin Schultz's perspective, I think this is gonna be a good project to pursue. My concern right now is the urban renewal that we submitted over to the city. So that, to me, that's the trigger point in my head. If and when the city approves urban renewal, that frees up the dollars we've currently allocated to the, what used to be the B wing over there. And by freeing that dollars up, that makes this a lot more appealing and easier to swallow. That's not to say we couldn't find a way to do it. I just think it makes it a lot easier. So that's kind of where I'm at. I've reached out to the city. We've submitted our documents over to them saying, hey, here's our proposal. The next step is it's going to go on the city council study session agenda. I've been talking with some city council members about getting that to happen. And then they will then do a study session, ask questions, go over the document, and then they'll put it on their agenda for approval. So I think we're probably 2 city council meetings away from knowing, in my head, whether or not we got to get creative with financing or not to make this happen. But I also have listening to Jeff and knowing the things that are going on in the world right now, bids, the cost of things have gone down dramatically for getting construction done. And if there's one thing I could do, if I could go back 5 years, I would tell myself, move forward with this then, because the costs then were about $1 million less. And, I think the longer we wait, obviously the more expensive this is gonna get. And, when you go over to the sheriff's office and see what our folks are working on, or working in, it's incredibly tight quarters. We have a closet for a CSI room right now. There's just so many things that could be improved over there. And so I believe this is a great project to pursue. Whether or not we get urban renewal done, I just hope that we can get urban renewal go through, free up those dollars, and make this a lot easier of a check to write. So that's kind of where I'm at on it. I just obviously welcome conversation with everyone else. And I've told this to Sheriff Danker too, so he's aware, but I do support it, so.
Well, I also agree with you, Justin, that it's a project that we ought to consider. It's not our only project on our plate. I'm sure you're aware of that. And Justin hit the nail on the head. If the urban renewal plan moves forward with the city of Council Bluffs, that would open this thing up for the opportunity for us to fund it. And I would like to see us hold off on sending this out to bid for a couple more, or for at least till the city council acts on the urban renewal plan, then we can move.
See, I don't know how many meetings they have left in December. We've put a target of by the end of the calendar year for that approval is what it's unofficial. We've unofficially said that, but that's the hope. We're trying to get it done. And obviously, Sheriff Danker's retirement's pending, so.
Well, it's,
Not pending, looming.
I just want to make sure that, I want to make sure everybody's on board with this. I don't want I don't wanna go out for this. And I know you guys have you guys know where your money's at, you know what's coming, what's gonna, you know, what, as far as financially, you know, how to move forward with this if you want to. But and I understand DLR's concern that, you know, rather than throwing it out there, and if it comes back at 2.5, great. If it comes back at, you know, 4.2, then it's like,
What's
not
the
gonna work.
bid cost if you were to move forward with it?
What's that?
What would it cost to have them do a bid for us? Is there a cost?
You know, right now, they write all the documents, they send them out there to do the public notification and all that, so that's gonna take a while, anyway. So it's gonna take a while to get those bids back, but, so it's a pretty long process, and again, there's gonna be some pilings that are gonna have to be probably put there. I wasn't sure when we initially did, the whole building right now is on pilings, and because of the type of, soil that's underneath that, or, you know, trash or whatever. I didn't know, since this is just a one-story, whether that would be necessary or not, but I think they're going to require that. So that's gonna be something additional that, a lot of contractors don't normally deal with. So there's a lot of pieces to this, and they're just concerned that if we put this out and the contractors go through all this effort of getting all those bids, that we're gonna be good with going through with it. And if we're not, you know, so be it. I understand. We gotta put this out when we're sure. And I was kind of getting the impression that maybe we were to that point, but yeah, if we're still kind of in a holding pattern, I don't wanna put this out unless you guys are gonna be sure that if this goes through, if we get a good bid on it. And from everything the architect's telling me, those bids have been, he said he had one that was not too long ago, it was like 30% less than what the estimate was, which is considerable, because it just wasn't too long ago, and these things were way over what their estimates have been. So it's, I think it's a good time to do it if we have the money to do it, and that's where you guys, you guys.
So you were gonna put up some of the forfeiture towards us too, right?
Yeah, that 1.7 million that we have, we've expended some of that on some of the architectural fees that we've already incurred. We spent money on that, but
Yeah.
we had 1.7 on that, and so it's something that.
So I mean, I wouldn't.
So what, to put it out for bid, there's gonna be, DLR is gonna have a cost for doing that, right?
Yes, there.
Did they give you a guesstimate on that?
They did not. They did not. I don't think it's gonna be a huge amount, but
Would you cover that under your forfeiture money then? Okay.
Yeah, we would. And
I don't think it'd hurt to get the bid. I mean,
I mean, the process is gonna take a while. We're probably looking January, February. You know, I mean, those guys can't just, they have to go out to all their subs and get all their estimates and stuff. I mean, I'm not, probably 6 months ago I'd have been, but it seems like we've been moving fairly, I know it's not probably in a great environment to be spending money, but maybe an opportunity too, so I wouldn't be opposed to moving forward with it.
You know, I disagree with you, Scott, and that's quite okay.
Yeah.
You're asking all of those subs to put together a bid that we don't even know if we're gonna have money to fund the project.
Why put it out for bid if you don't know if you have the money?
Well, I don't know that we don't have the money.
I don't either. I think we have the money, and I think we've put it off long enough. I'm ready to move forward, and I have been.
That happens all the time, Tim.
We don't have the money. We don't have, the B-wing project was, we based that on the hope of putting an addition on the courthouse where we could put our maintenance department. Right now, we don't even have a maintenance department to work in. So you're moving, if we were to even consider doing that, you're moving that to the back burner and moving a space that's still workable, however, maybe not the greatest in the world, ahead of it to a space we don't even have our maintenance department with a space to work in. And
Actually, these people don't either.
Well, yeah, it's kind of, yeah. I don't have a crystal ball, and I don't know, where the city's at. The city council members I've talked to, I feel fairly confident that they're gonna move forward. At the end of the day, they don't necessarily have to answer to the taxpayer for that money that we're trying to pursue. We do, as a board, so not the council. So I mean, really, just because we're in their jurisdiction, administratively, the law requires us to have them do the approval. So I mean, I don't foresee them saying no, but at the same time, they could. But I don't. If I was betting, I would say that I think we're in pretty good shape to see that pass. But again, that could be wrong. So I think if I'm wrong, then it means we'd have to get a lot more creative about how we fund this. And I think it would have to be probably something where we stretch it over budget cycles. We would have to really look at our priorities, to Tim's point. I mean, we don't know what's out there. We don't know how much revenues we're gonna be bringing in next year. So I mean, there's a lot of gaming revenues, for example, is also not unknown with Nebraska approving, the gambling that they're gonna have. That's probably gonna significantly cut into our money. So I'm just saying, I believe it's possible, certainly possible. I just think we have to really make sure that we prioritize if urban renewal doesn't go through. If urban renewal goes through, this is an easy check to write. And if the board decides to move forward. But I also know that 5 years ago, we had an opportunity to do this for $1 million less than what it is today, and we should have done it then. I think that was a mistake on our part that we didn't. And knowing the hard work that our law enforcement and the staff, everyone at the jail puts in, I mean, they deserve to have better conditions there, and I do agree that, our employees over here deserve to have it too. So we gotta strike that balance somewhere. So I personally think you're okay to move forward. That's me. I don't know if this requires a board action or not. Well, I guess it could. Yeah, we can make it official if you want. So I would entertain motions if anyone wants to. What's the pleasure of the board?
Well, I mean, it's still gotta come in at, I don't have that, but he said it was 3.9, he estimated that
Yes,
originally.
that's correct.
And Jeff's got a little less than 1.7.
he's got about 1.5.
About, is it 5 now?
I wouldn't spend it all. I would leave some money in there just in case Andy wants to buy new.
Well, I'm going to make the motion. I don't know if I have the votes, but let's see how we come out.
Okay, so we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, a motion is second.
But we're,
We've got to wait for Mr.
Yeah, I'll wait
Groby.
for Glenn to come back.
but
Again, I just, we're updating this building, we're getting things upgraded. I don't see, Tim and I talked about this a little bit, I think it's a good time to consider doing it. I just worry.
well, DLR's not, DLR's not out. I mean, they're gonna get paid for all their stuff, and when the bids come back in, I don't know, February or March, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, his concern is just that, that.
No, I understand completely.
Because I think that not only, it would reflect poorly on us, but it would also reflect poorly on them too, I think,
No,
just because. So that's why he wanted to have something
But
firmer.
he's somewhat confident that the bids are gonna be very competitive and there's gonna be a lot of bidders. I mean, we're gonna rely on them a little bit,
I have a question for Jeff.
The housing market's
When
going,
we
who
built
knows
the
what
jail,
else
we
going
had
on.
to have jail experienced contractors put the bids in. Is that still true today? Do they have to have worked with putting up jails?
With this is just this is not.
This isn't in the
No,
jail.
It's like office
Yeah,
space or
okay.
whatever. So no, this would be open to whatever contractor
So we're
feels
okay, we
that
don't
they're-
have any federal
No.
guidelines we have to go by like we did before?
Whatever
Okay,
contractor, they pre-screen them
Oh,
too,
right.
so if
okay.
they get some small company that
Not
is,
drug dealers.
if they come in with a super low bid
Yeah.
and they don't think they can fulfill that contract,
Haven't worked with the
they're gonna
floating
recommend,
rafters and,
they're gonna
yeah.
recommend us, if those bids come in and they're gonna kind of look through the bids real good too. So
Okay.
they don't wanna put us, have us working with a contractor that's.
Well,
not
that's
gonna-
good. That's in our favor. Thank you.
I mean, I would gamble on the side of law enforcement on this one, I think this, we can,
Let me make sure I understand this. So with this vote, you're committing $2.5 million to a jail.
we're not committing.
No, not
That's
until,
that's what
not,
DLR wants to know, right?
no, not until I see the estimate.
I mean, they gotta give me, we still can say no, but they have to, I think they just don't wanna waste their time.
Yes, they,
If it comes in at 4.4, we're done. We're walking away.
What if it comes in at 3.9?
We're walking away.
it's not that you can't turn the bids down. They're just concerned that, when this project comes around again, if we turn the bids down and we decide, okay, we're gonna rebid this thing in 6 months or whatever,
Right.
that you're gonna have contractors that are gonna say, don't wanna do with that, because I spent a lot of time and effort and money, and I gotta go in and redo everything, and I'm not gonna waste my time on it, so.
No, yeah, I think that's, I wish we could've got the urban renewal quicker. Okay, so we got everyone present. I guess, is there any other discussion on this? I mean, again, I just wanna reiterate that I feel like the longer we wait, the more expensive it's gonna get. If the bids come back and they're too expensive, we're out drug dealers' money. We've taken a shot to try to improve law enforcement's, day-to-day work out there if we can make this thing work. I think it's a win for everyone if they can get this to go through. So I wanna gamble on the side of law enforcement there, and I just ask, does anyone else have any comments on it?
I think it's a good thing, and I think the time's here. And I was one of the ones that talked to Jeff.
I think, from the board, I think everyone should try to reach out to city council and make sure that they understand urban renewal, if they have questions, and have a united front on that to hope that they pass that, because it'll help us significantly in this venture. And, I guess with that, I'll call for the vote. I'll do roll call, please.
Okay, Chairman Schultz,
Aye.
Supervisors Wickman,
No.
Groby,
Yes.
Belt,
Aye.
and Drake.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, thank you. Appreciate you coming in.
Finally.
You're like down to your last, 30-some days now, aren't you?
Getting close.
For real,
Yeah. Well, I'm not pushing, I just want to make sure that, if we put this out, that everybody's on the same page. And, and that's good, I appreciate this, and we'll see. And who knows, hopefully the votes the bids are good, we'll see, so.
Great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have on to other business. Approve and authorize the board to sign a lease renewal with the city of Avoca and Newton Avoca Historical Society for the Avoca Courthouse.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a motion, a second. Costs the same, so we know.
Yeah, everything's said.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. And are we going to closed session?
Yeah. I'll make a motion to go in closed session.
Okay, got a motion to go into closed session. Second,
You need the code on that.
We didn't get it
Hang up
all.
the bridge line. Thank you, everyone.
Oh,
Thank you,
good.
Becky.
Thanks.
5-1-I.
Go into closed session under Iowa Code, Chapter 21.